Yes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good evening, new listeners and current listeners from all around the world, including the areas of Long Island, the USA, the five boroughs of the Bronx, Manhattan, Brooklyn, Staten Island, and Queens. This is your host with the most, G Money Stacks, aka Lonely Nomad, aka Rookie Podcaster of Queens, New York, and aka the Gregonator. And you are now rocking with Off the Meatrack Chainz New York podcast, episode 42. That's right, folks, 42. Now, in case you missed any of the previous episodes, don't worry, I got you. All you gotta do is your part by subscribing to the YouTube channel, which is G Money Stacks 555. Be sure to enable alerts and tap on the notification bell so you can be reminded of when the show goes on the air live stream. And also be sure to, you know, leave a like and a comment on the episodes, including the topics, and also more video content, upcoming episodes, previous recorded episodes, and also, last but not least, don't forget to share the podcast alongside with your friends and audio streaming platforms, which I will go over at the end of the show. Now, I know I haven't had a chance to talk about how my weekend was, so I'm going to start with that one. So, my weekend was okay. I did do a lot of thinking about how I should actually tend to relax a bit and not try too hard to try to please everybody. And and that's pretty much what I got from when I was speaking to my sister about this. And you know, I'm not a comedian. I'm not a comedian with jokes, but I do my best to be funny in my natural original way, because all that stuff can't be forced. Also, I would like to touch on something actually that was look, previous episodes ago, I remember I was discussing a time that I took a critical thinking class and how I had a bad experience being in front of people because I was overloaded with mad information. And that cost me to have a nervous breakdown. And and that's the reason why sometimes, you know, I may not be the perfect reader, which I realized that because I try to read fast, but knowing that reading fast is not for everybody. I like to read at my own pace. Even if I butcher a few words, at least I didn't give up on myself. And that's what I'm not gonna do today. So, um, without further ado, let me remind people on what they should do to be a guest on the show, shall we? Now, if you'd like to be a guest on the show, whether you have topic ideas, a chain letter that you want me to read on the air, whatever it is, it could be about anything. Um, Whether you are a rapper, singer, DJ, VJ, radio personality, podcast host like myself, and if you are a black owned trendsetter that has a business, everybody that's in career fields are all welcome. Just jump onto the email off the meat rat chains ny podcast at gmail.com. That's off the meat rat chains ny podcast at gmail.com. Another option, you can also DM me at G Money Stacks 555 in Queens, New York about anything. What is your thoughts about the episodes, the topics that was discussed, whatever it is. If it's advice, all that is welcome. But please, no spams on my DMs. I don't want any spams in my DMs, all right? I'm just putting it out there. So, now that I got that out the way, without further ado, we are going to go to a segment called Chatting All the Jazz. Now, what is Chatting All the Jazz, you ask? Chatting All the Jazz is the segment about the topics that catches the interest, whether it's trending, whether it's some topics that doesn't get discussed, that don't get the recognition. And our first topic for today has to do with people buying fake COVID-19 cards. This is unbelievable, and I'm gonna just read it anyway. So let me just read this so I can actually get my thoughts together and stuff. So here we go. But first, this is crazy. I'm sorry. But why in the hell would somebody try to invent a fake COVID-19 vaccination card? Now, I'm going to explain why it's a crime on there. So here we go. So a vendor on Amazon was discovered selling a pack of blank COVID-19 vaccination cards this week. The post has since been removed, but photos reshared online showed a 10-pack of blank cards going for $12.99. I repeat, $12.99. That's close to $13, folks. In the US, actually getting a COVID-19 vaccine and receiving a legitimate vaccination card is free. The small white piece of card stock given to Americans after receiving all necessary COVID-19 shots is only official way to show some proof of full immunization on the fly. But according to the Federal Trade Commission, sorry about the sirens, folks, those simple cards easily replicated by fraudsters never were designed to prove vaccination status long term. Other vendors selling fake vaccine cards have cropped up on Etsy, an e-commerce site focusing on handmade and vintage items, on pro-Trump forums, and on the dark web, according to recent reports. We do not, end quote, we do not allow the products in question in our store. We have proactive measures in place to prevent prohibited products from being listed, and we continuously monitor our store. An Amazon spokesperson, to be exact, said in an email to NPR, in this case, we have removed the items and taken action on the bad actors involved in bypassing our controls. Etsy didn't immediately respond to NPR's request for comment. A black market for a fake vaccination card has grown in the waning days of the pandemic in the US and other parts of the world. Authorities have been warning about the rise in the pandemic-related fraud for months. Fake vaccines cards only have a negative impact on public health, the FBI said. But they are against the law, unauthorized use of an official government agency's seal can be punished with a fine or up to 5 years in prison. The FBI said earlier this year, by misrepresenting yourself as vaccinated when entering schools, mass transit, workplaces, gyms, or places of worship, you put yourself and others around you at risk of contracting COVID 19. The FBI and Justice Department didn't immediately respond to a request for comment on potential investigations into such schemes. State attorneys general set their sights on the issue in April, urging tech CEOs to nip this phenomenon in the bud before it gets worse. In April, 47 members of the National Association of Attorneys General sent the CEOs of Twitter, Shopify, and eBay a letter requesting that they take immediate action on bad actors spreading COVID-19 misinformation and using the sites to sell fake vaccine cards. The letter read the false and deceptive marketing and sales of fake COVID-19 cards threaten the health of our communities, slows progress, and getting our residents protected from the virus, and are a violation of the laws of many states. A coalition of 42 attorneys general sent a separate letter later that month to offer up an online mobile marketplace requesting similar action after fraudulent and blank COVID-19 vaccine cards were discovered being sold on the platform. One pack of vaccine cards was being sold for $40. Efforts are being made to prevent fraud. Catching and charging people behind the selling of fake COVID-19 immunization cards has been rare so far. California bar owner Todd Anderson was arrested last month for allegedly selling fake COVID-19 vaccination cards in what was believed to be the first thwarted scheme of its kind. Oh boy. Now, this is crazy. Anderson was charged with identity theft, forging government documents, falsifying medical records, and having a loaded unregistered handgun. Really? A gun? Really though? Are you really that stupid to carry a gun along with doing the most evil thing, faking by pretending to be fully vaccinated? You should be ashamed of yourself by doing that. All right. This is not funny right now. How do you sleep at night knowing that you're scamming people with fake COVID-19 cards? You have to be really, really desperate to get all that attention. Anyway, in Long Island, a now former CVS employee was caught with dozens of COVID-19 vaccination cards that he planned to provide to family and friends. In response to those cases, New York legislators started the process of making it a felony to forge or poses fake immunization records, including COVID-19 cards. Last week, the New York State Senate passed legislation S.4516B. Bill sponsor Senator Anna M. Kaplan said in the press release, "We're already seeing anti-vaxxers spread tips online for how to create fake cards in order to get around vaccination mandates. And we need to put a stop to this effort to defraud the public so that our recovery from the pandemic can keep moving forward." Okay, so the moral of the story is you do something very stupid like this by creating a fake vaccination card to actually mislead people with misleading information, there's going to be consequences of you being in prison for 5 years. So let that be a lesson of the day. All right. And speaking of lessons, it seems like Warner Media and Discovery deal um seems to be falling apart in a dilemma. So let's read this. AT&T's new deal to merge Warner Media with Discovery has major implications for HBO Max and may impact upcoming Warner Brothers movies as well. The landscape of movie and TV streaming is set to shift following the announcement that AT&T is merging Warner Media with Discovery Incorporated to create a new company under a new name yet to be revealed. The deal will put Warner Media's subsidiaries, including Warner Brothers Pictures, HBO Max, DC Films, and networks like CNN and TBS, under the same name under the umbrella as Discovery brands like HGTV, Animal Planet, Food Network, and of course, Discovery Channel. The news of the deal broke less than 5 years after AT&T first announced its planned $85.4 billion. That's right, $85.4 billion. Acquisition of Time Warner. This was hit with an antitrust lawsuit by the Department of Justice, which AT&T fought against and eventually won, rebranding Time Warner as Warner Media. However, the merging of Warner Media and Discovery will eventually undo that hard-won deal and create an entirely new company that is no longer vertically integrated with AT&T. And I can't control the sirens, folks, so don't mind that as long as you can hear me. Anyway, the full details of the Warner Media Discovery merger are still being determined. But for the average viewer, it almost certainly means that changes to streaming service options are on the way. Here's a breakdown of the merger, the movies and TV shows involved in it, and what it could mean for subsidiarities, to be exact, subsidiarities like HBO and Warner Brothers. Okay, in a nutshell, AT&T's acquisition of Time Warner was part of an ambitious plan to expand the company's scope into producing media content like movies and TV shows, and to get in on the lucrative streaming wars with the creation of HBO Max. Now, AT&T is letting go of Warner Media's assets in order to refocus on telecommunications and offload some of the debt that resulted from its expensive purchase a few years ago. Warner Media and Discovery will cease to exist as individual companies and re-emerge as a new company that combines the assets of both. This company won't be a subsidiary of AT&T like Warner Media was. But AT&T's shareholders will own 71% of the company, while Discovery shareholders will own the other 29%. The deal is expected to conclude in 2022 with Discovery's current president and CEO David Zaslav becoming CEO of the company after the merge is complete. All right. The aim of merging Warner Media with Discovery is to cover an extremely broad range of content from news and sports to superhero movies to reality TV shows with the long term goal of creating a streaming package that covers all of consumers' needs. The growing number of streaming services like Amazon, Disney Plus, Hulu, Netflix, and Apple TV means that viewers are finding themselves having to sign up to too many different subscriptions in order to access everything they want to watch. With competition between streaming platforms fierce, Warner Media slash Discovery could gain an edge by creating a one stop, I say, shop for some of the biggest movie and TV brands, ranging from scripted drama to live sports. This was also Disney's strategy when it created its bundle of Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN. Um, the new company created by the Warner Media Discovery merger will own all of Warner Media's current properties. That includes DC Entertainment and DC Films. So anything related to the world of DC, including DC Comics, upcoming movies like The Batman, The Flash, and Shazam, Fury of the Gods, and TV shows like Doom Patrol and Titans will be under the umbrella of the new company. There's also HBO's library of content, including prestige TV shows like Game of Thrones and its upcoming prequel series, House of the Dragon, The Sopranos, Succession, and Westworld. And through Warner Brothers Pictures, the deal will involve a considerable chunk of movie franchises and cinematic universes, including Harry Potter, the Monsterverse, the Matrix, and the Conjuring universe. Adult Swim and Cartoon Network are also among Warner Media's subsidiaries, so Rick and Morty are along for the ride. Um, all right. Now, I don't know what to say on that one, but I will say this though. I actually spoke to a friend of mine in regards to the whole thing with the dilemma of Warner Media and how Disney is trying to get their claws on it, which I feel that Disney sometimes be making bonehead decisions. And for those of you out there that's listening out there, um, I want you to share your thoughts on YouTube and tell me how you feel about the the Warner Media merger along with Discovery going to Disney. Is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? I will post that question on the podcast page so you guys can actually share your thoughts and talks about that. And speaking of sharing thoughts and talks, um many of you may not know, um when I looked up this story about Amazon purchasing MGM Studios, like, I was pretty shocked about this because MGM is known for the James Bond movies. And and to back it up, I do have an article that I'd like to share with you. So here we go. So this was recently posted June 8th, by the way. Um, Amazon's recent purchase of Metro Goldwyn Mayer Studios is rich with opportunities for new content based on beloved film franchises such as James Bond and Rocky. But the online marketplace doesn't have to compete with Netflix, Disney Plus, or Hulu for viewers for its viewers, movies, and shows. Say Northeastern scholars, it just has to offer content good enough that families on the fence about subscribing to Amazon Prime decide it's worth the plunge. End quote. Amazon doesn't need to be the best at streaming, says Venkat Whammy, assistant professor of entrepreneurship and innovation at Northeastern. They just need to be good enough for people already on the website to purchase one more bag of pet food to decide that a Prime membership is worth it after all. Samina Karim, professor of entrepreneurship and innovation, says the bar can be lower for Amazon streaming service because they are bundling a lot of other services in with it. It's not just entertainment, it's also free shipping, discounts at Whole Foods, and more. Amazon purchased the organic grocery chain in 2017. I didn't know that. Who knew? So why purchase MGM at all then? Quote, it's a classic case of musical chairs, Compass Whammy says. Media companies are competing for scale and consolidating in order to offer the most content. Discovery and Warner Media merged last year. Disney bought much of 21st Century Fox, and Comcast owns Universal Studios as well as its own streaming platform, Peacock. Everyone is kind of paired off. They've all found their dance partners, and there aren't that many valuable content libraries left, Compass Whammy says. One of the notable ones had been MGM, which had been on the market for some time now. The e-commerce giant purchased MGM Studios for a whopping $8.45 billion. I'm going to repeat what I said. $8.45 billion. It was a surprising price, roughly 40% more than other potential buyers, including Apple and Comcast, thought MGM was worth, according to the New York Times. But it wasn't an altogether surprising business move, Karim says. In general, what you are seeing here is a vying for content, says Karim. And what we see sometimes in acquisitions is companies that are willing to overpay because they don't want their competitors to have the assets. Amazon has had, to be exact, a handful of successful original shows and movies, including The Marvelous Miss Maisel and Transparent, but it hasn't been nearly as successful in earning critical acclaim and awards as Netflix. For example, which has 17 Emmy nominations in 2021, 7 wins. Developing good original content is hard to do, Compass Whammy says. It's a lot safer to play into existing intellectual property. It's another reason Amazon is betting big on MGM. People aren't going to subscribe to 8 different streaming services, Corinne says. All of these companies are fighting to be the 3 or 4 that remain. Ultimately, we don't know how this will shake out, but I think it will boil down to who has the deepest pockets, and Amazon has some very deep pockets. All right, my take on this, right? All right. I think it's a good move for Amazon. Now that Amazon got Amazon Prime, so why not get MGM Studios. It seems to me the reason why Amazon is purchasing MGM Studios is because, you know, MGM over the years has been successful with blockbuster movies like the James Bond franchise, which I just mentioned in the article. I feel as if, when a company gets bought out, just like 20th Century Fox or 21st Century Fox, it's been bought out by Disney. I feel that if a company's being brought out, it seems like they're about to lay off some people who work for them. And yeah, it is pretty sad in a way to see the people that work at MGM Studios to get laid off. So that's pretty crazy to me, man. And and I really feel bad for them, man. Yeah, I do feel bad for them, man. Trust me. I do feel bad for them. But I'm pretty sure they're gonna really bounce back from all this. Um, speaking of bouncing back, it's been a long time since we haven't heard from Mr. Cooper himself, Mark Curry. Now, I didn't know he was 65 years old when he did the interview with Wendy Williams, which is very, very, very rare these days. But it is what it is. So, um, all right, he was at a gas station, so I'm just gonna tap into um what I'm gonna talk about here. So, according to this article by HollywoodLife.com, um, hanging with Mr. Cooper star Mark Curry makes rare appearances on local news, and fans are losing it. That was no ordinary driver talking about rising gas prices on KTLA. That was Mark Curry, aka Mr. Cooper, and this random cameo gave 90s kids all the nostalgia. A, T- a TGIF legend made a surprise appearance during Monday's edition of KTLA's Evening News. During a segment titled Pain at the Pump, Gas Prices Rising. None of None other than Mark Curry, aka Mr. Cooper from Hanging with Mr. Cooper, weighed in on the issue. I don't look at gas prices, Mark said, because I think it's ridiculous. What can you do? In the segment posted to the internet, the Mark is dubbed an LA driver, a distinction that left some fans reeling. Wow. Okay. Poor Mr. Cooper has been reduced to LA driver. Really? So, show some respect to our TV dads and mentors, Newsies tweeted at Arish A. Ronnie. This LA driver, that's Mark Curry, damn it. Such disrespect. How do you not know that was Mark Curry, the comedian? What is this world getting to? That's Hanging with Mr. Cooper, lady. Wow. 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 Oh man. Man, can you imagine interviewing Mark Curry and not even realizing it? I must be old. One Twitter user said that she says it's him later in the story, and that's good news. The other good news, oh shit, Mr. Cooper's still looking young and healthy, one fan tweeted. Yes, he does. Um, the reporter who conducted the interview, Lauren Leister, later clarified everything. I did not know by the end. Yes, he told us, but my story was about local gas prices, and he was filling up at the station. He was so nice to talk to us and give us his opinion for local reaction, she tweeted. Okay. For those born after the millennium, Hanging with Mr. Cooper was a 5 season sitcom that aired on ABC from 1992 to 1997, which was one of my favorite shows, by the way. It became a staple of TGIF, the block of programming that features shows like Full House, Perfect Strangers, Family Matters, Step by Step, and Boy Meets World. Hanging featured Mark Cooper, um, a former college basketball star who nearly made it to the NBA, but instead wound up back in his hometown as a high school gym teacher, per Looper. The show also featured Holly Robinson Pete, Don Lewis, the late Neil Carter, and Raven Simone. Oh wow. Mark's appearance comes a few weeks after he spoke with Entertainment Tonight. I'm an iconic man. I didn't know that. Damn. I am somebody, baby. He said after being dubbed one of ET's iconic leading men of 90s TV. Mark also shared how Hanging with Mr. Cooper came to be. I said to Jeff Franklin, creator of Full House, man, I would love to be a hooper. I am a basketball player. And we came up with this idea. I remember Holly auditioning. I remember Don Lewis auditioning. I remember it all. I didn't know what the heck I was doing, but I told them, yeah, I know what I'm doing. And so we did the pilot. We did the pilot on the set of Alan Thicke's show, Growing Pains. And we didn't change the furniture. We didn't change nothing. Mark also said that he wanted Hanging with its family friendly theme, black cast, and a revolving door of black celebrities to be a love letter to Oakland. The series took place before the tech boom and gentrification hit by Bay Area. In the 90s, Oakland had a bad rap, and Mark wanted to change that with his show. End quote. I just wanted to bring my community up, and that's what I tried to do. Elevate to another situation to make it look good. He told Entertainment Tonight. I tried to be a positive image on television. That's why you didn't see me with a basketball, but you saw me with a computer. I was trying to be that role model, and I was trying to be a positive guy. After Mr. Cooper ended, Mark appeared on the Jamie Foxx show, had a recurring role on The Drew Carey Show, and had feature roles on Our Love, See Dad Run, and Family Reunion. He still had hard he excuse me. He's still hard at work at being a stand-up and is excited to get back on tour after COVID-19. However, if someone pitched a Hanging with Mr. Cooper revival, he'd be game. I look at television now and I say, man, I don't see anything like my show. I see nothing that makes me laugh. So I would love to come back to television. There you have it. There you have it. Okay. Now, for the reporter that didn't know who Mark Curry was, how the hell are you gonna say that that's a fucking what is it? A driver, just a plain driver at a gas station, which is a level of disrespect. That is a fucking comedian legend. Everybody grew up watching Hanging with Mr. Cooper these days. And that was one of my favorite TV shows on TGIF on ABC, by the way. And I'm pretty sure everybody's familiar with that. And now at age 65, it seems he doesn't age a bit, man. He's still young, man. Um so congrats, man. I have to give a round of applause right here. All right. Speaking of something that's not nice, ooh, I wanted to talk about this in a way, in terms of what Monique said, but I would have to go over what a bonnet is and what history is. So I'll get to that in a second. Okay. So for those of you who may not know what a bonnet is basically a woman's or child's hat tied under the chin and with a brim framing the face. And and I also wanted to learn the history behind this. So so the history behind bonnets is not lost on black households. For many black women and men, wearing a bonnet to bed has been the way of protecting our hair and keeping it moisturized throughout the night. Growing up, it was strictly only for wearing around the house. It was a routine. Wake up, take your bonnet off, and go about your morning routine. A bonnet was never seen as a hair accessory to parade around outside. In fact, I remember all the times my mother and I would be running errands and we see a black woman walking around in her black silky hair wrap. Um, my mom would wrinkle her nose, turning to me to whisper how such an act was ghetto. I used to agree with her, thinking to myself, why couldn't she just have done her hair? Why did she have to come outside like that? Now, as I gotten older, I don't blame myself or my brother for having those thoughts. Um, it's also, it is also, hold on. It's always been instilled in every black person that we need to leave our houses looking presentable, have our edges done, hair slicked back, braids in pristine condition, because everyone is already judging us, which is society, and we don't need to give them another reason. Even at the age I am now, when I need to run down to simply get a package from my mailroom, I quickly do my hair in a manner that won't cause people to stare or make comments, because that's the reality of being a black woman. Black women have been fighting for the freedom to wear their hair however they want to for way too long. From fighting to wear their afros in the office to braids at school, it's been a constant uphill battle to simply be viewed equality. It's different when a black woman leaves her house with her hair sticking up. The concept of a messy bun isn't in our vocabulary. But why is that? Why can't we go outside in our bonnets and head scarves, especially to work or school? Why can't we hop on Zoom calls in the luxury of our own homes wearing them? It's the fear of how society will look at us, which is a fact. How they will wrinkle up their noses like that many times my mother has done it. Well, look, as we don't have any home training. We don't know how to present ourselves to the world, as if the world determines our own self worth, our own value. Now, okay, it shouldn't matter if our hair is braided up to perfection or straightened with no hairs sticking out. There is no difference between that black person and the one who is walking down the street with their hair wrapped under their bonnet. Um, Now I decided to actually look up the word bonnet as the definition because for years you hear people use the word bonnet, but they don't know what it is. So I decided to break it down in the definition and maybe be able to understand why it's part of the culture, which is Black culture to be exact. And I bring that up because it has to do with the nice things that Monique said, which I am going to get to now. So many of you may have heard what Monique said in a video in regards to seeing Black women wearing bonnets in airports and stuff. So I'm going to actually read something that will give you clarification. So, according to yahoonews.com, in the video shared on Instagram, Monique asked Black women to stop wearing bonnets, slippers, and pajamas at airports and other spaces. Monique has a message for all the queens out there wearing bonnets at airports, but not everyone is feeling the unsolicited advice. On Saturday, the comedian and actress shared a video message to Black women asking them to stop wearing bonnets, slippers, and pajamas in public spaces. It took me a minute to say what I'm getting ready to say because I want to make sure I'm not saying it from a place of judgment and that I'm saying it from a place of love. Monique told her 1 million Instagram followers. Some of y'all have given me the title of auntie, and I'm honored that y'all do that. But there are times that auntie has to talk to her babies and say real shit. Okay. I'm gonna share my thoughts on that in a second. Um, Give me a second. All right. Where did I leave off? All right. I've been seeing it not just at the airport. I've been seeing it at the store, at the mall, Mooney said, adding, when we lose our pride in representing ourselves. When did we slip away of let me make sure I'm presentable when I leave my home? Ah, man, I hate society so much. While she made it clear she wasn't suggesting that women always wear a full face of makeup or a lace front when out in public, she emphasized, all I'm saying is, could you please comb your hair? I'm not saying you have to pride, but the representation that you are showing someone will have to ask you to know if you have it. End quote, she's added. It's not to get a man, it's just your representation of you, my sweet babies. Yeah, right. Monique told women to take her message as a warning as she vowed to step in if she happened to see them in the streets, in the airports, in the Walmart, and you got a bonnet on and you got slippers on and you looking like, what the fuck? Auntie Nikki gonna tap you and say, hey, baby girl, show you what you are worth. Show you what you deserve. Monique also urged wise sisters to join her in correcting what she sees as not representing themselves with pride. That may be a part of us helping our community, because if you look like you don't give a damn, how are you going to be treated? Said Monique. So when I say, hey, queen, I can only say it to the sisters that it belongs to, because a lot of us are still in queen training. Queen training? Yeah, right. So if you are in queen training, stop being fearful of taking your position, she added. Queens don't walk around in bonnets and headscarves and slippers and pajamas. That's for the house. When you go outside, represent you, baby, like you are worthy and you deserve the title of hey queen. Monique's video garnered a lot of comments and plenty of opinions, particularly those who felt her message was cloaked in respectively politics. This was such a disappointment. Imagine women growing up watching you be loud, curse, grab your crotch, and make heinous jokes just for you to turn around and police women for wearing a bonnet. One person wrote in a lengthy comment. How is it that you can't address women as queens based on how they're dressed, but you expect corporations to pay you fairly with complete disregard to some of your previous actions on stage and in public? Out of everything going on in the world, you choose to police women of color, specifically black women, for being comfortable in public, and you call this being a queen. She added, I was a little lost at why a lot of people stopped following you over the years, but I clearly understand now. This was extremely anti-black, misogynistic, and ignorant. If you know better, do better. I just cannot believe the women who did nothing besides body shame skinny women, talk about dick, and had an entire series dedicated to harassing a black man has the audacity to police another black woman on appropriate behavior. Another commentator who actually agreed with her accused Monique of hypocrisy for wearing a bathrobe in a video message, despite many comments scolding the Academy Award winning actress for her comments. There were many others who applauded her for it. She's right. I'm sure some of this perspective is age, said one of her followers. The look is not cute. No, you don't have to dress up to go to the airport. I, I sure as hell don't. But I'm not looking so bad that I hope no one sees me. And looking good enough so that if someone does see me, even if they don't like what I'm wearing or they don't like how I look, they know I'm representing. I'm representing us and I'm doing it well. All right. All right. Before I even go to before I even go to the next topic of Batman and the Space Jam 2 trailer, I would like to say a couple of words. Okay. First and foremost, let me take a drink. Okay. All right. Here we go. All right, let me tell you something, Monique, on the midlife crisis, bitch ass with braids, who wore a fucking bathrobe in her own home. Why are you wasting your time trying to fucking judge other black folks who's wearing a bonnet? What is the problem with women wearing a bonnet, slippers, pajamas, and stuff like that? Like, this is the problem that I have with society. And the reason why I bring up society because it reminds me of sociology that I took when I was in college. I took sociology because I wanted to understand why people in the world are so fucking judgmental to one another. And now I understand why there's a bunch of bullies all around the world. And then you have people like Monique wonder why her career is down the fucking tubes because you're too busy worrying about other people and what they supposed to wear. First of all, let them wear what they want to fucking wear, all right? Because to me, you're being a hypocrite. How you gonna tell someone what they want to, what they can and can't wear, but you want to wear a bathrobe out of the blue with your big ass braids? And you wonder why Steve Harvey and a lot of people don't like you. Because you're a fucking hypocrite. And I can't and I don't like hypocrites, man. And this is why I'm going to not only give you a buzzer for this, but you're wrong for this shit. And on top of that, You want to know why nobody's picking you up? Because you are fucking trash. You're on a midlife crisis on a fucking Lamborghini, and 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 you not only have big ass braids, but now all of a sudden you got white hair too, which I do have a little white hair myself, but not as worse as Monique. All right. So I'm gonna tell you like this though, man. Look, let black women wear what they want to wear. And I think the reason why you're too concerned about women wearing bonnets and stuff is because you don't understand the fucking history behind it. It's part of black culture. Whether you like it or not, get over your fucking self. And you wonder why your fucking career is going down the tubes, which I'm gonna flush you right now. I had to do it. I had to do it. I had to do it, man. I had to do it. This is just beyond ridiculous and crazy that I had to just say. I just had to I had to, man. But anyway, um the next topic I want to talk about has to do with a Batman scene that's been cut out of the new Harley Quinn animated series cartoon. Now, I know many of you may say that cutting the scene out of a cartoon that's animated, that's made for adults, which is supposed to be made for adults. But I'll get to my thoughts in a second and read this. Okay, according to the article of TMZ.com, not so fun fact about Batman, he doesn't go down. Or so we've learned after DC Comics dropped the hammer on an oral sex scene in the Harley Quinn animated series. Producers of HBO Max adult animated series really tried to push the envelope, but co-creator Justin Halpern says he was told by DC absolutely cannot do that because heroes don't do that. And how are they supposed to sell Batman toys if the heroes performing oral sex? Look, if you have an adult cartoon, right? Like an animated series and it's for adults, it's not PG-13. It's a rated R. Get over it. Harper told Variety they get a lot of more creative freedom when it comes to writing and developing villains. They can do pretty much anything, but there are all kinds of rules for superheroes. He says the confrontation went down during production of the upcoming third season of Harley. Birds. Oh, never mind. Between you gotta love their retort to sell DC suits. According to Justin, so we said, are you saying heroes are just selfish lovers? You might notice DJ Khaled is now trending with many fans joking that he's actually the Cape Crusader. If you are wondering why, look it up. There's so much we can say here. Third season of Harley Quinn, um who um who is voiced by Big Bang Theory star Kelly Corco, streams later this year. All right. I don't understand how you have a creator who created an adult cartoon animated series like a Harley Quinn, and you cut out a fucking scene of Batman doing oral sex, claiming that superheroes don't do that. If you really wanted to actually sell toys and everything just because it's PG-13, then do that on a separate platform. Don't do it on an adult cartoon. Imagine if somebody was to cut off a character from a Rick and Morty cartoon. I bet you everybody would not be happy about that. And there's a level of hypocrisy that I talked about previously in terms of the double standards of what's going on in the TV and film industry and stuff. I feel like if you're gonna cut somebody off just because you don't like them, listen, it's art. Cartoons are supposed to be fun and full of art, love. And people like cartoons like that. People don't like the political bullshit. Just like the political bullshit that they try to put on The Simpsons, which is one of my favorite TV shows, by the way. Now, I'm pretty sure a lot of people would not like the political bullshits in their cartoons and TV shows. All right. I just had it with some people who tried to cut off things, especially art, by the way. And I feel like art's supposed to stay. You can't please everybody if you're a cartoon creator. All you could do is just do the best you can as a content creator of a cartoon. And that's all I'm gonna say on that one. So I'm gonna just put a button on that. I will post another question in regards to the Batman scene for all you comic book fanatics out there. Um I'm just annoyed. All right. I'm just annoyed right now, man. And this is just crazy, man. And I have to really no, this is something I have to do. Yeah, they deserve that shit, man. Yeah, they deserve that shit, man. But all right, so I think that's gonna do it. I want to do one more I want to do a segment that I never got a chance to do in a minute. And this has to do with Space Jam. And Space Jam is going to be our new segment called, just give me a sec. It's going to be called, hang on a minute here. I thought I had it. Thought I had it right here. Hold on. Okay. So it's going to be, all right. I'm just gonna go with it. I'll find a segment. So the segment that I was gonna do was called Movie Man Cave. And this has to do with Space Jam, A New Legacy. Now, for those of you who may not know, I did see the trailer. And I find it pretty interesting with the trailer, which is probably and I actually spoke about this, which is the same way when we talked about the whole sequel to Coming to America. It's never going to be like the original, okay? It's never going to be like the first one because it's a different story and it's a different way to tell a particular story. Like for instance, in this one, there's no monsters, but I'm not gonna give away all the spoilers. So let me get to how the story of Space Jam: A New Legacy is about with the synopsis. So NBA superstar LeBron James teams up with Bugs Bunny and the rest of the Looney Tunes for this long-awaited sequel. Um, So so the cast goes like LeBron James. There's Zendaya who voices Lola Bunny. There's Don Cheadle. There's um Sinequa Martinez, Jim Cummings, Fred Tress McNeil, Martin Kleber, and you know the rest of the cast, man. Um, so what I take from the trailer, I say it looks good, and I don't mind checking that shit out though, man. But it's not gonna come out till July 16th. So just to let you know, it's gonna be out in theaters and it's gonna be on HBO Max. So with that being said, let me let me say this though before I wrap up the show. Um Look, I know many of you may have saw me butcher on some words lately, but at the same token, I do try my best to not be perfect. And like I said previously in the beginning, I'm not a perfect reader. I'm not a fast reader like most people. I nearly tried to be a fast reader when I was in private school, and it wasn't easy. And I don't like to butcher, but that's part of like, you know, trying to, you know, not be something that you're not. And I feel like, I did take a picture of a pic that was posted months ago in regards to what podcasting is about. I want to look for it. So let me look for it in the gallery. So just give me a sec. Um Other than that, man, that's gonna do it for this show. If you like what you heard, feel free to show some love by making a generous donation to my PayPal, which is paypal.me/gmoneystacks, Queens, New York. And another way you could donate is through my Cash App, which is G Money $G Money Stacks 555. That's $GMONEYSTACKZ 555. Um Now, before I even get to the here it is. So for those of you who are trying to be a creator of a podcast show, um, let me say this from a pic that I took a picture of. Podcasting is about your thoughts on the topics at hand, not the audience. Never compromise your house to keep company. In other words, you don't want misery to be part of your company. You know what I'm saying? I hope you do. Now, and like I said, it's not about pleasing the audience. It's about your thoughts and talks of what you think about your topics at hand. And let me get to the social media handles real quick. So you can find the podcast on Facebook and Instagram, which is off the Meatrack Chainz NY podcast on Facebook and Instagram, all in one word, the same name. And you can also find me on my primary handle, which is G Money Stacks 555 in Queens, New York. Also, you could DM me your thoughts on what you like about the topics, what you didn't like, or whatever. Um, and if you need advice on anything, whether it's whether it's a chain letter, whether you are a rapper, singer, DJ, VJ, black owned trendsetter who has a business, radio personality, podcast host like myself, and other career fields, all you gotta do is go to the email right here on the screen of YouTube, off the Meatrack Chainz NY podcast at gmail.com. That's off the Meatrack Chainz NY podcast at gmail.com. Now, for the streaming platforms where you could listen to the episodes, you can listen to the episodes on Podorama, Anchor, Spotify, Audio Burst, Deezer, TuneIn, plus Alexa, Player FM, Podchaser. By the way, when you go to the Podchaser link in the link tree /G Money Stacks, you're going to see Podchaser. Click on that and make sure you leave a review and a rating, a 5-star rating, to actually show some love. And speaking of showing love, our next streaming platform is Stitcher, Pocket Cast, Podcast Addict, Breaker, Listen Notes, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, and don't forget to listen to Off the Meatrack Chainz New York podcast on Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and last but not least, the YouTube. Now, all you gotta do is your part by subscribing to the YouTube channel, which is G Money Stacks 555. Be sure to click the notification bell with alerts so you can be able to get more video content and upcoming live stream episodes, previous episodes that will be posted after the recording on the channel page. Alongside with leaving a like, leave a comment on the episodes, along with the topics that was discussed, and don't forget to download your favorite episodes that you like. And if you miss any previous episodes that you missed, don't worry. It's all going to be posted on every streaming platforms. And all you got to do is go to the link in the bio that says Linktree /G Money Stacks 555. You're going to see a whole list of audio streaming choices that I just mentioned just now. And also, don't forget to spread the word to your friends, your workers, models, actors, actresses, singers, rappers, whoever. And don't forget to share the podcast along with audio streaming platforms with your friends. And now, I do want to leave off with this. Like I always say, if you have a dream of being a podcaster like myself, don't let anybody stop you from doing what you got to do. Because at the end of the day, you're doing this for you. You're not doing this for everybody else. Also, I would like to also say, look, the moral of the story to this show is to basically inform people and to basically be able to, do the best I can as a host to actually, not do too much. I'm trying to relax so I could actually relieve myself from all the stress and pressure that I've been going through for the past couple of days. So I'm glad that you guys stuck around with me, and I truly appreciate that. Also, I would like to say thank you to every new listener and current listener out there that's been rocking with me, even though it's been kind of difficult for me to get co-hosts and stuff due to work schedules and stuff. At the same token, I am going to clock out. This has been episode 42. So I'm going to give myself a round of applause for 42 episodes in the books. And some explosions. And I'm going to see you guys next time in the next episode. So I'm G Money Stacks. Thank you for tuning in. Peace and one love, and have yourself a great night.